Hi, this is Siddharth Venkatraman, and welcome to yet another episode in the series Intro to the World of Marketing. So, today in this episode, what we are going to look at is what is a brand? So, we keep hearing this statement, right? So, Sachin Tendulkar is a brand, Virat Kohli is a brand, or suppose I need to buy a car, it should be from a good brand. If I need to buy a laptop, it needs to be from a good brand. So, what exactly is a brand? So before we get into that, let's see what brand is not. Okay. So we some people confuse brand with the logo of the brand. Okay. Or they will confuse it with the tagline which is below the logo. Or they would say that the color which is associated with that organization is a brand. Or the trademark which is registered is a brand. Or they'll say the stories you tell or the creatives, which is the brand guidelines. While all these things are definitely part of the brand identity, this is not brand in totality. So then what is it? Let's look at that. So brand is basically, you can look at it in several dimensions, and I will take you through each one of them. The first and most critical part of it is what the series of experiences which someone has with an organization. It is basically that blueprint of customer experiences. An example is, suppose I decide to buy a car, okay, and my association with them starts from the time I visit their showroom, the way I'm treated by the salespeople over there, the way I have my test drive done, the way they help me answer all the questions I have and the queries I have, the way they help me make a decision on which car to buy, and then the entire sales process, how easy it is to do business with them. Do they stick to their commitments on delivery? And then once they've delivered, how easy it is to get my car serviced? If I have any issues, do they help me? So when you buy something from an organization, there are a variety of touch points in which you associate. So a brand is basically a blueprint of how consistently they deliver a good experience across all these touch points. So it should not be that they treat you well when you are actually going to buy, but once you make a payment, then you're treated in a not a good way, or you bought the product and whenever you want to get a service done, it's very difficult to reach them. So that should not be the case. So a good brand should deliver a customer experience right through this journey. And what happens because of that? You will build trust and loyalty. So someone who's had a good experience with an organization will continue to remain with them. They will not say, why should I go and try someone? This is working very well for me. So the customer will become loyal to you and will trust you. The next one is the relationship, okay, which you have with the customer, okay, the organization and the customer relationship, okay, and it is the feeling and the psychological relationship between a business and a customer. So how, basically, as I told you, the way you treat them, do they feel happy, do they feel confident, do they trust you? So you build a trust and loyalty by giving them a good experience, which means they'll feel comfortable. Okay. So what this will lead to is top of the mind recall. So when I've had a good experience from this brand of car which I bought, when someone asks me, I will tell them, hey, buy Ford. Okay. But if I've had a bad experience with them, I will again tell them, don't buy from this brand. Okay. So it is the relationship which builds. Okay. So a customer builds a relationship with the people behind the product, and it's not with the inanimate product. Okay. So it is basically that relationship which should drive the brand. The next one is the promises which you make, the agreement. Okay. So if this car or brand is telling me that I will get a 20 kilometers per liter mileage, though I will obviously take it with a pinch of salt, it should not be in the other end of the spectrum where I get a 5 kilometer per liter mileage. They should stick by their agreements. Okay. They should stick to their commitment, because then only I will realize the value of that product. If they say that you will get this and I get only half of it, I will get really, really upset. Okay. And I will say that these guys don't stick to their commitments, don't go buy from them. Okay. The next one is the nature, the style. So every organization has a style of working. You associate, like for example, if you take an Apple or a Mac, you associate creativity, innovation with them. So you get a feeling of like you feel that you are like someone special owning that product. Or there are certain automobile brands which say that we are rugged people. Okay, our car is like for rugged people. So you get that feeling of power. So it's about that emotional feeling which you get or you associate with that brand. And emotions are always something which actually have a long lasting effect on it. So when I'm using a product, it should actually give me that excitement. So when I'm using a Mac laptop, okay, there are people, I don't use a Mac, but there are people who use a Mac who are very loyal to Mac because they get that feeling of being very creative. They get that feeling of able to do stuff very easily. Okay, so that's something which they associate, and so there a lot of Mac users are very loyal to Apple. Okay, finally, the most important thing is what distinguishes you from others. There are a variety of car brands. So what distinguishes you? What is so special about it that should come out distinctively and come out in the sense people should be able to feel it when they're using your product. Okay, so basically, a brand is a sum of all these things on how the people behind the product or the organization and the product and the customer, how is this relationship and what are the emotions it evokes and how easy it is to actually do business with this organization. Okay, so in a nutshell, brand is not what you tell who you are. Okay, I can tell that I'm innovative. I can tell that I am cutting edge. Okay, I can tell that I'm always ahead of time. But then, what do people think about you? What does your customer think about you? What does the market think about you? That is actually brand. I can continue to say that I'm amazing, but if my customers and the market thinks that I'm not good, then you have a bad brand. Okay. But on the other hand, if what you say and customers are able to feel that, then you are really a good brand. So it's about what your customers and the market and your stakeholders feel about you, and it's not what you tell yourself. Okay. So these are all examples of some famous brands. Okay, Starbucks coffee. Okay, so people associate. So I've gone to Starbucks coffee when I was in Manila, and it gives me a lot of emotion on how I was a student at that point of time, and it gives me that emotion about how I used to actually sit there and do assignments in a Starbucks showroom. Okay, so it gives me that feeling of freshness. It gives me one kind of an emotion, which is I used to be a student and I would be working late night, and this was like a source of energy for me. McDonald, okay, for a lot of people, McDonald says, okay, at any given point of time, I can get a snack, okay. So and the quality of the food, and Apple, I said, it gives the feeling of innovation, creativity, sleekness, okay. Mercedes Benz, okay, it's like the elite. It's like a prestige to own Mercedes Benz, and the cars are amazing. So these are all examples of world famous brands. Okay, now let's look at some Indian brands. Amul, Fevicol. Fevicol is a brand till date. Okay, it's like a pioneer in branding. They they make Fevicol. Fevicol is a adhesive which everybody knows, and it's used by carpenters, electricians. Even we use it in our houses. But they did a path-breaking thing of reaching to the end customer. You can remember their ads where it very clearly says that it's like a very strong adhesive. Okay, they do not tell it directly, but they use all kinds of mnemonics and references to actually drive home the point. And they made an industrial product uh, associated with a common man by directly going to the end consumer. So Fevicol is something which you say that okay, it's become like a category name, right? They say, hey, use Fevicol. Likewise, LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, State Bank of India, Infosys, a pioneer in information technology, HP Petrol, Maggie, 2 Minute Noodles. So these are all some amazing Indian brands, okay, who have like top of the mind recall. Maggie, like even for other noodles, you go and say that you have Maggie, okay. Same way for Fevicol, you use that word as an adhesive, okay. For adhesive, it's become like a common name for adhesives, okay. Does this mean I need to be a big company with a lot of money to be a brand? Definitely no. Okay. So a brand is not about the number of people and stuff like that. So these are all examples of some very famous local brands. Okay. Tirunelveli is a place in Tamil Nadu. Okay. There is a shop called Iruttukada Halwa. Okay, Iruttukada Halwa Kada. Tirunelveli Iruttukada Halwa is very famous. It's a small shop, but then the kind of people, it's so famous that people throng that place to buy that halwa. And the common thing is once the stock is over for the day, they'll shut the shop. But still people will queue up to buy that. Okay. The second one, the Mumbai Dabbawalas. Okay. They've been there for decades. Your Swiggies of the world and Zomatos of the world are today. But these guys have been delivering food from houses to offices for decades. And they've been a case study in several top B schools. They've been a Six Sigma. Okay, they deliver with precision, and a lot of them are actually uneducated. But using color coding, they've been able to consistently deliver precisely the right tiffin or box to the right people. Being uneducated, they've been finding their own ways of delivering consistently a very good quality of service. Okay, Mumbai Dabbawalas, it's a brand, and they are not an organ. First of all, they are not even a consolidated organization. They are independent people working together. Karachi biscuits from Hyderabad, very famous biscuits, and then Paradise Biryani from Hyderabad. Okay, now maybe it's a very big, but when they started, it was a small restaurant and it was very famous even back then. Chikki from Lonavala, Kolkata India Coffee House. So these are all small shops or small products which actually have a very, very big recall, and people actually go all the way over there to just experience that food or experience that service. Okay, and these are all not very huge brands, but still people are able to feel good about them. So that's what makes a brand. So these are all basically various components of a brand. As I told you, the logo tagline is also a part of a brand, but that comes under what is called the brand identity. So likewise, there are a variety of elements, okay, which makes a brand, and that starts from a brand definition, brand value, brand promise, brand identity, brand differentiation, market position, brand messaging, and the overall brand experience. So I'm going to actually put up a separate video explaining each one of these elements and give you examples so that you will be able to associate what each one of this stands for. Okay, so this is what a brand is. Okay, and again, brand is what your customers in the market thinks about you and not what you tell about yourself, and that can happen only when you consistently stick to commitments and deliver a good experience. Okay, so these are my social channels. Do follow me over there. I share a lot of content over there, and if you found this informative, do like this video and also follow me on the YouTube channel. I keep adding a lot of new exciting content over here. See you soon. Take care.